Welcome to The Source with your host, Dr. C.T. Curry, and co-host Coby Owens. News all across the nation. The Source. Stay in the loop in the city of Wilmington, Delaware. Work together for change in the community. A call to action to find the resources. The Source, the latest in news.
Good evening. This is Dr. Curry.
This is Coby Owens.
And welcome to The Source. Coby, we have had several weeks where we reported no shootings. This week, thank God, while there was two shootings, they weren't fatal. So on Monday night, we had some shooting in the city.
Yeah, there was a shooting on West 4th Street, 4th and Scott Street, a few minutes before 8 p.m. A 36-year-old man and a 37-year-old man were both hospitalized in stable condition, both having gunshot wounds. There's been no additional information put out about this. I will say, before the show, me and you were talking, and we didn't get notice of
Right. I was going to ask you about that.
I know they've been doing really good with that, so I'm going to be following up on that as well.
Where does the notices come from? Because I know. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
They come from the NITSL system that anyone can get those notifications for the Wilmington Police. They have a dedicated command team for communications that has been doing a really good job at getting that out. So I don't know how this one slipped, but both of them are still alive. Right. But I don't know any additional information on it.
Maybe they was watching. They was getting ready for the State of the Union, and they decided we're not going to send this because we are doing so well. But I do want to say hats off again to the police department, who's doing a phenomenal job with keeping our streets safe. And when this occurred, I was a little shocked, and I'm glad I was able to see it. But the two persons there are not in critical condition. Neither are they life-threatening wounds. However, there was a shooting, and we want to make sure that we are having integrity, and we are calling out and sharing whenever there's any shootings or certain such violence are here. I do want to also add to that, there's some updates that I want to share with our community, where there were two updates. One where was the fatal shooting outside of the bar, where a person got 33-year sentence. What do you know about that?
So in 2024, there was a Lupe Badalo Castillo was shot outside of the El Mahente bar in April of that year. They have sentenced 45-year-old Francisco Velasquez Vila.
Good job.
To 33 years in prison for that fatal shooting. And that comes after there was a video showed drinking in the bar, and then also the shooting right outside the bar as well too. And that was Deputy Attorney General Jamie Malosky is the one who prosecuted this case and brought forth the evidence as well too.
Yeah, and I was kind of impressed with the accused decided to plead guilty. Which is normally not how it goes, even though sometimes we have all the evidence that one would need. But do you have any reason for why you think he just decided, you know what, let's just be straightforward? Or do you think the evidence was so overwhelming that he could not but plead guilty?
I think, well, going back to that case, he turned himself in. He turned himself in at the police station, discarded the murder weapon and confessed to the crime the next day. The next morning. All right. The video shows that he shot her point blank, and I don't know what the motive was, other than
that's what I was going to next.
They were drinking, and they all left at the same time. But he confessed right away, and I guess this was the deal. He got 33 years.
Now, normally, if a person murders someone, is that the normal amount of time, or because he was straight up and confessed and all that stuff, did it get reduced? I'm trying to really just look at the whole scenario and say this gentleman did the right thing. He did the wrong thing by shooting the person, but he confessed. He turned himself in. Do you know normally, and I always throw you on the spot, and I apologize for that, but is this something, would he have gotten 33 years had he did none of that? And
So the prosecution asked for 35 years. Defense asked for 25 years. The minimum is 18 years for that crime. And that's if he would have taken a full plea deal. So the judge, I guess, listened to both sides and chose 33 instead of 35 or 25.
Yeah, but if where I'm always asking, because I'm a person who represents a lot of people who find themselves in bad situations, if it was 18 years, they would normally give a person, and he did confess, he did turn himself in, a lot of extra tax dollars were not spent. Why could he? I'm asking you you're not the judge, but why couldn't we have said, okay, give him 18 years? Because there has to be some reward for doing what is right, even though you're wrong.
So, yes, I agree with you, but I think also in moments like that, you also have to, is the person remorseful?
Okay.
Yeah, I did it,
okay.
But are you remorseful?
Okay.
And things like that. Or do you pose a threat to the safety of the community, right? Mm-hmm. So regardless of what the circumstances is, if there was words exchange and your next action was to shoot someone point blank, then, having a short temper like that may not be someone you want right back out on the street.
Okay.
So again, I don't know how the case went down, but I do know, the judge went closer to the number that the prosecution was asking.
Okay, so obviously, and we don't know the details of whether the person was remorseful. We don't know the details of whether this person has prior records too, because that adds into it as well. So, but I just wanted to make sure that when we are talking about it as a discussion, that we are sharing with the community, those who are watching us, that we're trying our best to just get some sense to it. But it still pays to do what is right. Mm-hmm. If you found yourself in a situation where you have done something wrong, to turn yourself in, to not waste the time of being found guilty when you know you're guilty, there's still some benefits to that, because there could have been other things asked for. There was another case where there's another update where a man gets 8 years in prison for fatal stabbing. Yes. So let's talk a little bit about that.
So again, this is another case from November 2024. So the police are doing a good job solving these cold case, because it's now been more than 12 months. But there was a young man by the name of Tyler Ponzo, who was 30 years old, who was found in the 1900 block of West 4th Street. He was unresponsive with a laceration to his arm. He was taken to the hospital where, in critical condition, where he later died, and an autopsy determined that he had been stabbed. They made an arrest of Solomon Fadiga, who, after the stabbing, made his way to New York. That's where he was arrested. This all happened in the Little Italy community, over in the 7th District. Once they were able to arrest him up in New York, he was extradited down to Delaware, December 23rd, 2024, where he faced manslaughter and possession of deadly weapons during the commission of a felony. He pled guilty to both those crimes and was sentenced back just last week, February 19th, to 8 years in jail.
Yeah, and I'm trying to. Both of them were murders, but I guess, and both of them were deadly weapons. I just don't. I try to understand the judicial system. I don't know it that well. It's a lot of moving parts to it. So I don't want to criticize, because it's not like I can say, this is some racism or whatever else. But it's just so many different parts to these puzzles, and I just like to really ask those questions. But hats off to, again, Wilmington Police Department, who's dealing with these cold cases and getting them solved, and really it's holding accountable for those perpetrators who have perpetrated these crimes. I want to kind of turn out. Oh, go ahead. You go.
Well, yeah, I was. In the other case, it didn't say what the one who was charged with 33 years was. It was probably like second degree or first degree murder.
Okay.
And this case was manslaughter.
Which is the difference.
Again, involuntary manslaughter is like the intent. You didn't have intent to kill when you did something, but the person still died. So it's more like recklessness, neglect. Voluntary manslaughter is like the heat of the moment, right? Murder is, okay, now I thought about this, right? I prepared for this. I brought my weapon with me and everything. I didn't just grab something I could use. So that can determine, what, and usually first degree, second degree, third degree murder will carry a higher sentencing than manslaughter, whether it's voluntary or involuntary.
Well, thanks for that education, because again, we wanna know. We want to know. So if the person has prepared and thought about it, you're going to get more than a person who just in the heat of the moment.
Correct.
And if the person who didn't have in the heat of the moment didn't have any intention, they had, there are different levels. And what we want to make sure that we're always doing is just sharing more education, more understanding of what is happening, because there's two persons who definitely found themselves with a person dead at their hand. Yeah. However, their sentences were totally dramatically different, and there's reasons for that. Okay, and we're gonna go back to school and learn that. Maybe we'll be a lawyer one day. I don't know. I want to turn our attention to something that maybe be a little bit more juicier and hotter, and that's the State of the Union. I mean, where are we as in America? I mean, we used to be the most respected, the most reserved, the most pious, or I should say polite too, but we just cacophony, buffoonery. It was, what was that State of the Union all about?
It was a me moment for Donald Trump. It was filled with a bunch of lies. He happily declared DEI is dead, and has ended in America. And the Republicans who sit in DEI seats in a lot of these states, to hold on to their power, they stood up and clapped.
I saw that.
Trump attacked the Democrats for not voting for certain bills. When you look at some of the old State of the Unions, you look at Obama's 2, Biden's, or his 8, Biden's 4, Bush's 8. They always tried to find something good to say about the opposition. Trump threw that all out the window. It said, nope, they're all bad, I'm good, do what I say and we all win.
He called them crazy. He did
a
lot of
everything in the book. Representative Al Green, who
I saw that,
got a lot of attention at last year's State of the Union for standing up and calling Trump out. This year he didn't say anything.
He just had a sign.
He just had a sign that said "Black people aren't apes."
Yeah.
And the Senator Malkin from Oklahoma decided to get out his seat and try to take the sign away from Representative Al Green. Throughout the State of the Union, you did have individuals who called out, including Representative Ilhan Omar, who represents Minneapolis, who called out that you're killing Americans. When he was talking about he secured the border, and how America is safer than ever. He completely ignored the fact that there's people facing difficulties with this economy. He said that gas prices are $190. Please point me in that direction.
Yeah, I haven't found it yet neither.
He said grocery prices are down. No, all these places, we saw an increase due to his tariffs, and he even attacked some of his Supreme Court justices.
I saw that too.
Because they ruled against him about his tariffs. And what I really is getting under my skin right now, the way the Supreme Court issued their opinion on this, it opens the door for repayment for these businesses who had to pay additional money. But these businesses, of course, did not pay out of their profit. No. Their net income, they increased the prices on us to pay for these taxes.
Absolutely.
So are we going to get a refund for that money we're owed?
Are you crazy?
Is Acme going to be cutting a check?
No.
Food Line?
No.
Um,
BJ's,
BJ,
Costco's. No.
So a lot of it again. It wasn't just the food places. It was clothing.
Yes.
Tires went up. Everything across the board has gone up because of these tariffs. American goods have gone up because of these tariffs.
And you know what I would be all right with as well? Even if they decided, okay, let's lower the prices back down now. They have not even done that. Now that we got this ruling, once it went up, it stays.
Yeah. And the market will not, the market itself will not self-regulate. The market is all about making money. And until there's some intervention from the government, we will be facing these high prices, and a lot of people will continue to struggle. Trump's midterm election messaging was he owns this economy and it's great. It's never been better. And if that's his midterm messaging, that's great for Democrats. He is now still saying that his Biden policies, even though he has rescinded all of them in the first month, for immigration, that is causing this mass influx of immigrants into this country. But then, on the other hand, he said he secured the border.
Yeah.
Which one is it? So again, I think those two are going to be two big areas he's going to take a hit during this midterm election. And then he talked about Trump RX, the scheme of a drug reduction, which if you look at it, if you drop your insurance agency and you go to this website, you're paying more. And I'm not a fan of the insurance agencies, but you're paying more. In these same, you only have to pay $35 for insulin. If you go to that website right now, the cheapest insulin they have on there is $273.
So why would he say $35?
Because that's what Biden pushed for, that he rescinded. Wow. He did ask Congress to pass the Stop Insider Trading Act, which it's interesting because this act would ban members of Congress and their spouses from trading, but not the president, not the president's family. This version that he's pushing for excludes the executive branch. So all the millionaires and billionaires that he has in his cabinet, they could still go forth and do it
That's
that
really
way.
sad.
He also called for them to pass Delia's Law, which would ban commercial licenses for immigrants in this country without legal status. Again, that puts us in danger, regardless of your immigration status. If you are going to be doing work, you're going to do work. It's better if you are properly licensed and you can apply for permits and stuff like that so that your work can be checked and monitored as well, too. When you have the back end stuff going, that's where people start, losing their homes or whatever, right? He requested more funding for DHS, Department of Homeland Security, which right now they are in a funding battle with a potential shutdown coming over funding for the Department of Homeland Security. They are now trying to tie in FEMA funding to that to try to put pressure on Democrats to vote for it. And then lastly, he pushed for the SAVE Act. The Save America Act, which would require additional proofs of citizenship in order to vote. Of nearly 90% of all the cases throughout this country of voter fraud, it has been Republicans, or they were trying to vote for a Republican, not Democrats. But he's targeting Democratic states, even though this all happened in deep red states. West Virginia, North Dakota, Utah, Oklahoma, in these states, Texas, in these states. So again, why does this matter? Well, what happens in America. People get married. When you get married, you get marriage licenses. You also change your last name for the women. Now you have to have, now you get a divorce. Now you have to have your marriage license, your divorce decree, and your original birth certificate in order to prove you are who you are so that you can go vote. Even if you change your name back to your original maiden name, now you have to have that name change paperwork as well too, on top of your ID.
Yeah. Well, but what I think he's failed to realize is that if he was to institute this and they decide to vote on it, which I don't think they will, the hard reality is it's going to be more his people than Democrats.
Yeah.
Because what we're discovering is that the rich may have all the access to a lot of things, but at the end of the day, he forget his people are the same. It's like he attacking these Democratic states, and he's going after them for fraud and this, that, and the other. But the people who are using these systems a lot of times are Republicans. So he's going to really quickly understand that he can't win trying to be a schemer,
right,
and a scammer. So the State of the Union was just horrible.
It was.
It was horrible. And what do you think about the people who decided I'm not going? The senator.
They made the best decision.
Yeah, I thought so too.
They made the best decision.
And I saw CNN try to get Omar to say that she made a mistake by going and then had to speak out. But she said, no, I want my people to see and hear that I'm there and I'm representing. And I thought she did a very good job. And I thought, and I think that Donald Trump was trying to bait.
Oh,
and did not get what he was looking for, but people thought he was the best. That was the best speech they have ever heard. How was the attendance on TV? Did people watch it?
It was one of the lowest rating ever, if not the lowest.
Okay, so I'm surprised he didn't bring that up because he always talk about how his stuff is always the highest.
The largest crowd ever, even though the pictures didn't say that. He's all about crowd size. He's all about himself, and all about marketing himself as well too.
Yeah.
Just like the nice picture of himself that he put on the front of the DO.
Did you see it? Did you see it? Yeah, but it just speaks to his narcissism, and it's just really high. But I don't know. What I saw on the State of the Union and what I heard, how he just prevaricated and lied to the level that he did, and did it with such conviction. And for the people who support him, especially a lot of my brothers and sisters who are part of the Christian community, who call themselves devout Christians, and they just let him get away with this because he may agree with one or may support one of their agenda items. But I am noticing a lot of special interest groups are starting to come up against MAGA because there's so many of them now in that group. That they are coming up because he got policies that are not really aligning up with what they really want, especially the whole Make America Healthy Again. It's just so much going on right now. But what we'll do is we're going to keep following it. But that was just horrible. I wanted to bring that up today and talk to the people just to say it was just horrible. I was saddened by what I saw, what I heard, and how the Republicans are such cronies. It's just, I don't know how low will they go, but I can't wait until we get to November. And I hope America responds and responds appropriately. We're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about the Coby Corner and see how that's faring out today. We'll be right back.
Home. It's the place where we go to feel secure, safe, and loved. But for thousands of youth living on the streets, there's no such thing as home. Out here, it's a predatory world that can destroy lives forever. At Covenant House, we give at-risk youth a place to go where they feel safe, supported, and people care about their future. A place to call home. To help or get help, go to safeplacetosleep.org.
And we're back. Coby, what's going on with the Coby Corner?
So, I will talk about something that I know everyone is feeling right now, and that is these Delmarva bills, whether we're talking about
Church,
home and residential, commercial, everyone's feeling it. At the PAL, I can speak for the community side of things. When we turn our gym lights on, they're all connected. It's not like we can turn them on in sections. So when we're in the gym, all the lights have to be on. I'll be looking like, we need all these lights on. We've seen a huge increase in our electric bill there. And I know all across the board, everyone has Delmarva has been approved for another 6.95% increase that will start June the 1st. For the average residential customer, that's anywhere from $11 to like $20 additional dollars per month that you will be seeing on your electric bills. And again, it comes from the Delaware's annual electric supply auction, where wholesale companies bid to provide power to customers here who don't have a third-party supplier. And Delmarva, they buy their electricity through this process, and then they pass it to the customer directly. The Delaware Public Service Commission reviews and approves the final supply price. Now, these individuals have rubber stamped for Delmarva time and time again, and our prices have skyrocketed. This is their third increase in the last 2.5 years.
Who regulates because they seem like they do what they want to do.
So the Public Service Commission is appointed by the governor. So most of them who are on it currently are all appointees of John Carney.
Okay.
I believe there is one term that's ending at the end of this year.
Okay.
This will be Matt's first opportunity to select someone, Governor Meyer, first opportunity to select someone for that position. And again, they have to do better because, people are suffering. You're having your supply side of it go up, but then your delivery fee is double and triple.
Yeah, I saw that.
What the electric fee is.
Yeah.
So if I'm, using $100 in electricity, I'm paying a $300 delivery fee, and $400 a month when my salary hasn't gone up is insane.
That's right. Even if your salary did go up, it's still insane.
That part too. So, it's people are looking at roughly like $300 to $400 bills on average per month for electric, and then you get started on the tariffs and the food prices and everything. People are being priced out of their homes right now.
Yeah. And if we talk about there's a housing crisis, there's affordability crisis. And I know the president don't want us talking like that, but there's just affordability crisis because whether it be the utilities, whether it be the rental or mortgages, whether it be food, it's just everything is overpriced. No one, after COVID, no one took down their prices to match where we currently were. And Delmarva is just out of, whenever you hear up there at Bear where I live, there's several developments. I'm on their chats. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody, those who have and those who have not, and it's just not good.
And you brought up a good point about affordability, and it's a buzzword ever since Mandani's campaign, which is a very honest campaign. He was like, "Hey, New York is too expensive," and now all the politicians try to use this word without really doing anything. Oh, we're working on affordability. What are you doing? Because you talk about making more affordable housing by just giving developers more money to build, but then they sell these homes at a price point of $350,000. That's not affordable.
Right.
You're missing a mark for your constituents, right? We need to look at the stock that we have currently. How do we bring the prices down there? How can I have a bill that I'm working on right now that will take money from our reserve funds, from our tax stabilization fund, where we're sitting on almost $79 million. And I'm only asking for a measly $1 million to help landlords fix up their properties for major things: hot water, addressing mold, leaking roofs, stuff like that. And in return, you keep your prices, you don't increase your prices for a certain amount of years, right? We're helping take a major cost off of you, which you say you have to do in order to continue to make a profit. We're trying to preserve housing here. The mom and pop shops, the families who own maybe 3-4 properties that rent out, they can't afford stuff like that. Now, Bacini, who gets all the major kickbacks and downtown development district, the tax abatements and everything, they're the ones who get millions and millions of dollars of government handout. But they sit on a portfolio over $1 billion.
Right.
So who needs the help? We have to return to helping our neighbors, the people who actually care about the city of Wilmington, not some developers that live in Pennsylvania who only care about their bottom lines. That's what we have to do here. We have to look at how we can work with developers who will build the most units, quality units, for the least amount of money.
Right.
We talked about what y'all did over here, and at that same price point, 2 units were built. You built 10.
Oh my Lord.
2 units were built for the same price point, just about.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense to me. And at that point, we're wasting money when we can only get 2-3 units at a time. When we're 21,000 units short.
When will I heard the governor, one of his platforms, as well as the mayor, city council, everybody's platform is affordable housing. When will they put together a watchdog group to watch people and ensure, for example, if you give me a grant, and I'm all right with it, if you give me a grant, if they give me $2 million, I can give you 10 more units. Okay, how do you hold Curry accountable to do it in a certain amount of time because we've given them this money? That's what's missing. We're giving people who, because they have built money, and then they keep these change orders. And everybody who work with me, you can talk to whatever groups that work with me. I don't believe in change work orders. If the architect does what it's supposed to do, then there shouldn't be a lot of work order change orders, and we should be able to build this stuff. I don't understand why y'all don't hold anybody accountable.
So there was the office that should do that is the Office of Inspector Generals.
Okay.
Delaware does not have one.
Oh.
There is a bill, SB 4, I believe, that will create the office here in Delaware that the governor, Matt Myers, has been in favor of. Previous administrations have not been because they said adding a new office will be very expensive. But what this will do is create the opportunity for someone to go in and kind of increase accountability, review our dollars and where it's going outside of just the regular audit, but actually seeing that projects are getting done, investigate fraud, investigate waste and abuse, right? So I think, the office is needed. And that's, you have these offices set up every place. Currently, right now, the best place you have is the AG's office that has like a fraud division, but again, it's not the same. It doesn't carry the same weight.
Yeah. But we're going to put some teeth in it, Coby, because if we're to really handle this crisis of housing, then we need somebody over it, not just another office to spend more money, but somebody who's really, and that office is being held accountable to make sure. And I'm going to be honest with you, it may need to be an elected office so that the public can hold them accountable. Because if you are appointed by the governor or if you're appointed by the mayor, sometimes you got to do what the mayor needs you to do or wants you to do. And we saw that with the police department last administration. Yeah. So I really do think that we need to find a way to hold people accountable so that we can build. I see houses being built all the time. They're not being filled, and then the prices of them are so expensive that you're kind of taxing people out of their communities.
Yeah, and even if it is elected, it still gets political. I think the current process, how the bill is written, allows the governor to appoint and the Senate confirms, but it's on a 5-year timeline, so it doesn't match up with the governor's term, so it can overlap a new governor and stuff like that.
Okay, thank you. That's good. We just need accountability. Yes. We need houses built, and it doesn't take forever to do it. And you talk about somebody building 2 units for $2 million. That's preposterous. That's crazy.
And then when I say they're affordable, right?
Right.
Bringing it back local again, last Thursday we passed ordinance that would ban smoke shops and put a moratorium.
I can't smoke my reefer?
Well, no, that is still allowed.
Oh.
These smoke shops are the unregulated market, right?
Okay.
So they are selling THC products. They're selling weed-laced products.
Okay.
The marijuana industry has very strict guidelines, security protocols. Even to get into the store, you cannot just walk in like it's a retail place. You have to go through identification, ID, sign in. Only a certain number of people can go through that net store at any given time, right? Mm-hmm. These smoke shops, you can just go in and get whatever. They're not checking IDs. And especially their THC products are, a lot of it is replicas and dupes of actual brands, right? So you could get THC Skittles, right? Who eats Skittles? Kids, right? So now you're appealing to a younger market. This stops them from getting licenses in the city of Wilmington legally right now. We also have some smoke shops that have popped up that don't have licenses that we're trying to address as well too.
So if something pop up, can't y'all pop them out?
You would think it would be that easy, but it takes a lot of steps, a lot of legal, and the court system is very slow when it comes to this. This is why I also think Wilmington needs its own court system again, but that's a whole nother debate. But they sell cigarettes, they sell cigars, pipes, like I said, THC drinks, products, food products, and stuff like that. So this is going to be in place for at least a year or until the equity impact assessment is completed by our Department of Land Use and Planning, unless City Council repeals this moratorium. That's how it's written. So again, hopefully we are able to really get a hold on what's going on here in the city and move forward in that light. But that was, it came out of, back in February, a smoke shop was shut down for selling illegal drugs, and guns as well too. They found, when they busted the shop, they found a loaded 9mm handgun that was being sold. Not just like the owner was using it for own personal protection. And about 4,630 grams of marijuana and marijuana products that was non-regulated illegal products. So again, we have a long path forward, but we will get things done, hopefully in a very quick manner. I'm
interested to know, how was the vote on that? Because I know y'all didn't do a unanimous vote to stop it, or did y'all?
We did.
It was.
Of the members there. So.
Oh, okay.
We had 10 members who were present at that time.
Okay.
All 10 of us voted for it.
Okay. Well, that was good. That was good. That was good. Okay, I don't want to go there because last week.
Or 9 of us. Sorry.
Because
9 of us were present.
9 were present, and all 9 voted.
Yes.
Yeah, because I know that last week we had some people who would just find ways to vote against because of special interest groups.
Yeah.
I asked the question, like, who do these people work for? And I got so many people who responded to me. One person sent me an email saying they work for special interests. You should know that answer. And they got certain people who's talking directly to them, telling them don't do this, or they won't fund their campaigns. And I like to throw stuff out there just to see if anybody watching us, but people are definitely watching us.
Well, you have 2 potential candidates for mayor in 2028 who have received checks from these smoke shops for, in the past, who magically weren't there for the vote. They were absent. So we'll see.
Now, has Carney indicated he's not going to run again, or do you?
No, he hasn't, and he, not to give him credit, but he is kind of young to be mayor compared to our last one. So he could, all intention, he could run for another campaign.
I hope he does run another one, and I'm going to be honest with you for right now. Let me just say this, and I'm not endorsing and embracing anybody, but I will say this: as the governor, I did not have a relationship with Carney. Okay, as congressman, I did. He was one. In fact, I got to the Obama VIP section because of him. So as in Congress, I had a really good relationship with him. When he was governor, there were some people, I guess, around him, and I didn't really have any real relationship with him. But whatever I asked him for, he did support us in our agenda. But as mayor, I did not know that he would be as effective. Now people saying there's still a lot of stuff got to get done. That's true.
It is.
But I think his eye is in the right place. I think that he's putting people in the right positions, and I don't think we need to upset that right now.
Yeah.
Now I do know of some people who may be interested in running for mayor. I'm not saying they should or should not, but I think everybody should take if he chooses to run again, this is one time I think we should just leave it alone and come back in the 4 years after that, and then let's have a good race, get ourselves another mayor who can continue to move. He's fixing a lot of that Bazicki stuff.
He has, and he has a long way to go, and we don't see eye to eye on everything. But I will give him credit where credit is due. He has done a lot of stuff, especially for quality of life issues. That was long ignored. He could have handled not this last snowstorm, but the one before that. He could have handled that better.
It was cold, Coby. It was so cold that even my development that gets very good service, they were behind the ball on that one.
Hey, but if you can get certain areas of the city done, you can get the black area done. But outside of that,
his chief of staff is black, so why we're gonna blame it on the chief of staff?
The
How
old
would we
chief
do
of
that?
staff was black too.
Excuse me, no. There is a big difference. Hello, and I will I will say this: the other one was not. This one is, okay.
But just being black isn't always enough.
Yeah, but what I was going to say was, he is educated from the great Delaware State University, but also I think that he lives in the city.
Yeah.
Okay, for real.
Yes, that part too. But I think also when it has come now, I will say John Carney is more of a fiscally conservative individual.
Oh, yeah.
Who doesn't want to just spend on everything. So we do have to get around that. But outside of that, he has taken hold of a lot of things to see how he can make things better for the city of Wilmington. Again, this isn't an endorsement of him, because I'm still going to fight him on things.
He expects that, and give him credit for that too, because he don't take it personal. And these are the things I'm trying to really say. I'm not. Neither one of us are endorsing anybody. Okay, but we are the first two that will always criticize when something goes wrong. And you and I don't agree on everything. Right. So what? It does not matter. We are humans. We're different. Every great marriage, they have disagreements. However, there are some strong points. And one of the things I'm giving him, because we just got out of a mayor who was, you say something, he come after you. Yeah. He was a little Donald Trump. Now we got a mayor who, okay, he don't go after you. He may not like what you said. And I don't agree with everything Carney does. Right. Don't you ever believe that. However, I think that we're moving in the right direction.
I do too. And I think, going back, he's only 69, turning 70 this year.
Did he tell you he can tell his age?
He's a public official. All our ages are public.
Oh, okay.
I'm only 31.
So that means you ain't even old enough to be city council person. Jesus was 33 before
we
he
just try to
mission.
change it. But no. So he is in that age range where he can run at least one more time if he wanted to, for another 4-year term and still be relatively still young there as well too. So you have two people who are trying to position themselves and use their council position to build their profiles and everything. Do I think either one would make a good mayor? Absolutely not. They barely show up. They barely do anything on council. It's all about me. I would say it's a Republican thing, but one switched. So, who knows? And the other one talks about, well, if he doesn't switch, then I'll switch back if the Republicans. So, it is what it is. But
opportunists.
Yeah, they're both opportunists. But I would love to see them try to run against him because they have no base. Well, their base is to try to appeal to him to get his support so that they get handed the position. But I don't think it will work like that.
No, it will not work like that.
No.
Those days are over. Okay? Matter of fact, Jesse Jackson stopped that in the Democratic Party, and that era is over. We're going to see how things turn out. Well, Coby, anything else you got on your agenda for tonight?
Just last thing, my rental assistance piece of legislation will
Okay.
be on the agenda this upcoming Thursday, March the 5th. And March 5th is the start of Do More 24.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. Who do you think is going to be opposing your legislation? Not if you don't want to say names. How many city council persons do you think is going to be against it?
Off the top of my head, I could see 8 right now.
Against?
Yeah, because
Really?
they're not going to want to fund something like this. They don't want to help the people who are struggling.
But I thought you said that would bring out. Now, is this the same legislation where you go into the reserve funds?
No,
Okay.
this would be different.
Okay, this is different. And,
That's my landlord assistance.
okay. Oh, so this one is rental assistance.
Yes.
And you said you see about 8.
Yep.
Okay, so you only see 4.
I have some work to do. I'm
Yeah.
going to roll up my sleeves and start working on this.
Let me know if I can help because we do want to help as much as we can because
Absolutely.
it's very expensive out here.
Yes.
And some people don't know that because they're getting perks and things of that nature. Yeah. Anything else you have for us today, Coby?
That's all I have.
Well, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit about this, and this is going to be interesting. You got 2 Wrights who are kind of dominating high school basketball, and you got one who team ain't doing nothing, go to an alma mater of a person that may be on this show, and then you got another Wright whose team is doing everything, and they ranked, and I'm not too sure if he's getting the proper ranking. We're just going to talk about it a little bit. So if you wonder who we're talking about the Wrights, and we want to see how this is going to turn out. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Join us live for our weekly worship. On Facebook and YouTube.
Well, Pastor, I'm doing the best I can, but I still gotta have a little Chardonnay, and I still gotta have a little this, and I gotta still sneak around. The devil is a liar. That's an excuse.
Wilmington's most exciting church.
And we're back. You know, we're getting ready to get started with this whole March Madness, and we have high school basketball going on. Kind of just came out of the football season somewhat, but we got this Wright rivalry that's going on. It's really fun to even watch the game when they played each other. And little Wright, Justin Wright, kind of showed up. Big cousin Terrell Wright. He's ranked, to my understanding, 9th.
Yes.
That's Terrell. He's ranked 9th in the state. Very good basketball player. Good with fundamentals. Sally is ranked 11th.
Yes.
Which I think that's an overkill too because they haven't done much of nothing this year. I know it's your alma mater. However, Tatnall is ranked 2nd. Mm-hmm. And little Justin Wright, he's not even ranked, but I guess because you think it's because he's a freshman.
He's a freshman, but so, he had a really good season.
Oh man, he did, and the team did very well. So what do you think? First, why is it that you have such a high-ranking person on the with Sally, and they're not doing that well?
It's a few things that go into it. So schedule this year was tougher for them because they were such a highly ranked team last year. They made it to the finals.
Right.
And both those final teams aren't doing as good this year because of the strength of their schedule. Sally's also plays the bare minimum of state teams to qualify for the tournament. And that's comes from a long-standing multiple sports. We have this same issue. Schools don't want to play us here. So we have to play a higher competition with mainly PA and Maryland schools. So Sally's has played numerous games out of state. Mm-hmm. And no offense to anyone here in Delaware, but that Baltimore circuit, that Philly circuit is just higher performing,
especially Philly,
basketball players there.
Yeah.
That's just
Pennsylvania.
harder to go up against.
Yeah. And a lot of times people will leave the state and move into those areas if they want their children to do very well in basketball.
You have Robert Wright,
Yeah.
who is doing amazing at BYU right now. Latrell's older brother, he has started out at Sanford, and then ended up going to a prep school in PA, and then the #1 school in the nation down in Florida. So, when we do have good talent here, they usually leave for the
but I think Delaware is starting to get recognized.
Yes.
But it won't, not to the level that the Pennsylvania teams and the Maryland teams are recognized
right now. But hopefully soon. Give it another a few years or so.
And when my godson get through there real strong, it's going to give us some good recognition, and we hope that they stay. But people do leave and go to other places.
And just real quick, some of those other schools that Sally's played out of state are Unionville in PA, Riversdale Baptist in Maryland, LaSalle College High School in PA, William Penn Charter in PA, Camden High School in New Jersey, Potomac School in Virginia, Valeria School in Virginia, Malvern Prep in PA, Bonner in PA. I believe that's it.
Those are some national ranked schools.
Yeah.
So they're not playing, the little schools around the corner who just want to do it just to play. They are playing some very, very tough schedule. I didn't know that they was really playing to that level. So I guess I better stop talking about Sally's then. I'll chill out.
And they won some of those games.
They
won
did.
Some of those
They
games.
did.
They lost some too.
Yeah.
They finished with a 11-9 record.
But that helps them to get into these tournaments, though.
Yeah.
Because when you play in schools like that, then it makes your competition, your status much stronger. But we're going to see how it all turns out. We're going to try to use a couple minutes of our time every week to talk about where we are with these playoff games and see what's going on. But I'm very interested in seeing how it's going to turn out. Well, for the few minutes that we have left, I really want to talk about after hearing the State of the Union.
Yes.
After watching what Trump is trying to do, he called the people crazy, and that was subliminally. He did that on purpose to say that to start that boogie monster. You know how they're crazy. They're crazy. He's going to do something with that. But do you still? Let's start with Congress. Do you still believe it's going to be about 20? We believe now. I'm with you on the flipping part. How strong the flip? Because what I don't want, Coby, is I don't want us to make the same mistake the Republicans had to make. They had to compromise and not do what America's asking to be done because they had to appease the far right. Do you think our flip will be strong enough that we can do what is right?
I don't think it'll be that strong. I still say I'm still stuck on the 2025 seat flip. In order to have a flat out just being able to rule without having to listen to certain fractions of the party, I would say that Hakeem Jeffries would probably need like 35 seats.
Okay.
To really establish that strong foothold and still be able to lose some votes when people aren't happy about certain things. And again, that's from both fractions. That's from the more conservative Democrat and the more progressive Democrat. So I would say probably like 33 to 36 seats.
We have to give credit to the first woman to really hold that seat. She did a very good job and didn't have a big majority. But Nancy, do you think she will be? I think she's giving him some good tools. I don't know. I'm not really in personally like you are, but what are your thoughts there?
So yes, why she has mentored him. She's also a seasoned politician, and you do not give up all your power. She is retiring this year, and I think what will happen is you will finally get to see Hakeem be Hakeem and do his own things. But as of right now, there are still members of Congress who will go to Nancy Pelosi before they go to Hakeem Jeffries because she has so much power still. Same thing with Steny Hoyer, who's also retired. So now that old guard of leadership and power is stepping away, you may see Hakeem and his leadership team finally be able to take the full reins and try to run the caucus how he wants to run it.
Does he have a bite? Because he seems to be a mild-mannered person. I saw him mad one time, but I didn't feel that he still has that bite. Nancy didn't have to holler, but she would bite you.
Yeah.
And you would feel it.
He doesn't really have that. He's a very good fundraiser. He can sway you and stuff, but that's not his operating style. Now, who is Catherine Clark, who's his second in command. She has a bite on her, and she's always been very fierce for what she believes in. And Peter Allegar, who's the number 2 behind him, he also has that bite as well too. What I don't want to happen is one of those two get the idea to go up against him, and because they're more aggressive, they get the spot over him.
And a lot of times people are looking at that. And,
Yeah.
and like me, I'm sitting back in a reserved spot saying, I like him. I like his integrity. I like his thought patterns. But does he really have the bite?
Yeah.
What's going to happen with, let's say if we win the Senate, you haven't given me your predictions this week, but let's say we win the Senate, what's going to happen with, do you think the current speaker, minority leader will become the majority leader?
I think he will be challenged, but as of right now, I think he would win that challenge. There was 2 people who I saw as credible challengers to Chuck Schumer, and one of them is leaving. She's running for governor in Minnesota, Amy Klobuchar, and I do believe she will win that in November. With her out of the picture, there's one other person who, he's a senior senator. He was in leadership when he was in the House, who could potentially challenge and win, and that is Senator Chris Van Hollen from Maryland. Very skilled fundraiser, very skilled communicator, very similar to Chuck Schumer, but I don't know if he wants to challenge for that just yet. He hasn't been in the Senate as long as some of the others who go on seniority sometimes.
Because I think he's losing it a little bit, and I don't think he has the bite. He's more reactive than he is proactive, and
Yeah.
that bothers me. Do you think we will take the Senate?
I think we will get the Senate by 1 seat, which will still make things very difficult when you have a John.
Well, but I don't care. Being in the power position to expose things is important to me, because even if we don't get the vote to make things happen, if we can expose the president, it'll cause people to do what they got to do. Did you see Fetterman, since you brought his name up, and I was trying not to today, did you see how he was clapping behind certain things, and he was very much in support and wanted to take pictures with the president? What is wrong with this guy?
He, I don't know what has happened to him, and I see old posts and statements he used to make, and during the last Trump administration when he was lieutenant governor, how he acted, and seeing him as senator is just completely different. He's done a complete 180.
Do you think his district has become more Trump?
No. I mean, Trump did win Pennsylvania last year, or last election, but Pennsylvania is a Democratic state.
Right. I don't understand why he switched. Does he want to be like the guy down in where you went to school at? Who's Joe? He knows I don't say names. I just describe people. If those of you like, does he know anybody named? Yes, I do. But I choose not to say names on purpose.
Yeah.
But do you think he's just trying to take his slot or something?
Honestly, that's what it feels like right now. And the crazy thing is, those who didn't get along. But it seems as though he is trying to fill that gap of the Joe Manchin, Christensen.
When is he up for election?
2030.
Dang, we still got a long time.
4 more years. Yeah.
Well, Coby, I don't know. That's our show for the day. That's all I can say. Because we still feeling that we're going to get both of them back. We do know that the president is going to be impeached. Whether or not he's going to be, whether it will be upheld, will be a question up for grabs. Maybe so, maybe not. Oh, what about the little guy who used to be the Speaker of, not the House, but the little guy who used to be the Senate leader, who's retiring?
Dick Durbin?
Mitch.
Oh, Mitch.
I'm trying to help you out a little bit.
We share a birthday. He is retiring. I'm glad he's retiring. He probably should resign from his seat. He is. A video was released the other day of him having to be walked out of the building. He keeps having medical emergencies. And honestly, at this point, your health should come first, right? And this role, you need someone who can live up to the standards. And if your health, he's paid for life, right? Health insurance for the rest of his life. He's been in Congress for almost 40 years. he just is holding on to power right now.
Yeah, well, we're going to see how it all turned out. Well, we hope you trust that you enjoyed our show today, and we hope and trust that we've said something that kind of gave you a new perspective as well as give you some more information. Coby, is there anything else left on your desk that needs to be shared today?
That's all I have for today.
Well, if that's all he has, that's all I have. I want y'all to stay safe. They say some more snow is coming, so we don't know. But whatever way it rolls, roll with it, because at the end of the day, you're more than a conqueror. Until the next time, God bless.
Take care, y'all.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for the latest episodes.